So you're based in Chicago? No problem. You're based in Chicago? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Is that better?
Yeah. And you wrote this.
Yeah, I had a YouTube video up. Yeah, so we're in Chicago right now, and it was shot in Chicago, also parts in Indiana as well. We had like a little weekend trip down there. So it was kind of shot, like you guys said, guerrilla style, just kind of running around, calling people up. Can we use your apartment? Yeah, sure. Okay. And then we'd come over and just, change their entire furniture around and hang out and shoot the movie.
That's awesome. So as a filmmaker, when you're out visiting friends and stuff, are you secretly thinking, I wonder if I can use this for a set or something? Because I know honestly, I do that.
All the cool sets just kind of fell in our lap. We cast someone, we know someone who has like a cool place. The first scene where, they go to the first party together and there's like a band playing in the basement. We were just like, hey, you guys, throw parties down here where bands play? Yeah, can we shoot a scene for a movie in there? Sure. Just kind of worked out.
That's awesome. What's your soundtrack like? You got like Chicago punk bands?
Yeah, a lot of it was friends that Andrew knew. He was very, very connected in that scene and knew a bunch of the people. But most of them are Chicago-based. Some of them are from Indiana. We have someone who's currently based in LA in there. So it was kind of just different people we knew, and then some people we just reached out to and they said yes. One of the people we met was at a open mic for the song at the very end of the movie, and hey, we really like it. They said, sure, go ahead, use it. So just different.
Cool. And for the viewers, when can they watch it? When's it playing on the LA Punk Portal?
I believe it's playing tonight at
7:15.
Yeah.
Okay. 7:15. Cool.
7:15.
Yeah. Is this the first festival you played for, or is this like one of the first?
We were also in the Ohio Independent Film Festival a couple years ago as well.
Cool. I looked at it from afar as like a more die-hard version of a Sid and Nancy thing, but I haven't seen your film yet. Is it? Well, how would you like?
Yeah. I mean, maybe not as intense as Sid and Nancy ended up, but definitely along that line. The whole tragedy going in there, and there's like, definitely a romance at the throughout the whole movie actually, but mistrust, a whole bunch of stuff going on. Kind of all being juggled at once, I guess.
And was it from personal experiences and stuff, or?
That would be a good question for the writer, Andrew Palmer, who is, has the mohawk on the poster. But I mean, I do know we took a lot of influences from, just being around Chicago and, going to parties and stuff like that. You just kind of see stuff happening. So just kind of everything. I think, and then like some of the stuff I brought to the table was more like I grew up in Michigan and suburbia, so just kind of living out in the country, I was able to relate to. Not quite Indiana like it is in the movie. So some of that kind of found its way in there.
Join us on the portal at 6 o'clock.
Cool. So as a filmmaker, what is this? What else have you done?
Well, I do have a movie coming out. Hopefully soon, called Break. It's got a bunch of submissions out there. I've done a ton of ballet films too. Me and Drew have. I've also, there's like a couple Vimeo movies too. Tons of ballet films. Then just a lot of like we'll film for musicians trying to raise money to finish their record too, and just little stuff like that as well.
Any you want to plug that are trying to do that right now?
I mean, there's a band called Dreadwolf. I'm making a movie with them right now, filming them while they're recording their new album. This Obsession, they have a song in there. There's just if you listen to anyone in the soundtrack from our movie, you'll probably like it, honestly. Like that was like the highlight for me was like, I never had access to like songs and stuff. Like growing up, I had to just use like songs that, were copyrighted and would get me sued. So it was definitely really cool getting to, play around with that for once and be like, wow, these guys are all really talented, and it's just really amazing, honestly.
That's awesome. I'm originally from Toronto, and I lived in New York for a while, and I look about you. So, like, X is, from what I hear, that they are like the godfathers of the LA punk scene. Who would be the godfathers of the Chicago punk scene? Because I've never been to Chicago myself.
I mean, I got different tastes, but I do know everyone I talk to out here does like Alkaline Trio pretty good. So I'll have to give a shout out to them. I know I mean, that's probably where I'd have to go. If you go further back, I'd have to go through, Spotify probably to find someone. But
Gotcha.
that's who everyone talks about. Like, oh yeah, we were really influenced by, Matt Skiba or Alkaline Trio. Did that quite a bit.
Gotcha. And making your film guerrilla style, did you have any run-ins with the police or have any problems?
It's actually funny. We did have one filming the opening shot, but he was going to retire and he just wanted a picture because Drew's mohawk looked cool. So we all just kind of were like I really thought they were going to tell us to leave, and I was like, okay, I know there's got to be another place we can try and go out there and film next to the lake, and they were like, no, we just want a picture, and so we were like, okay, let's quick take a picture, and so
Awesome.
that did happen, but otherwise it was just like back alleys, and a lot of it takes place indoors too, which helped. So when we were outside, it was usually montages, and we would try and just grab it and go.
What did you shoot it in? What was the camera or what format?
We shot it with 70, and it was we had like access to like 3 lenses, and when our there was a couple shoots where our cinematographer couldn't be there, and we had a backup as well, so sometimes we could shoot with 2 cameras, and then sometimes we were limited to 1. So if it was like a big scene, it definitely got harder to cut because you couldn't roll 2 at once. Also, it took a little bit more time. But otherwise, it was pretty smooth, honestly.
Awesome. I'm asking you this because this is punk filmmaking, everybody. This is it's not just a punk film. The whole thing that goes behind it, taking pictures with police with the mohawk to get away to having that extra.
It was like cheaper than bribing them, cheaper than bribing them. So it was like, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. That was like the only one. So.
Awesome. So I guess. Thank you for joining us, and please watch the show at 7:15 p.m. tonight, Pacific Daylight Time. I just learned PST and PDT. I always thought it was PST, but nobody ever told me PDT is like Pacific Daylight Time from now till March, and after that it's PST. So I'd be telling people wrong times my whole life.
So this gives me a great segue because we've got some other filmmakers on here, and we've got Kevin Short in from the UK, and he is, I don't know what time it is there. What time?
It's, you've got me up. It's 2:15 in the morning.
Nice.
2:15. What are you doing to me?
Punk lifestyle.
Brutality.
Okay, cool. So this is I'm using my phone, so I can't see who else is in the Zoom room unless they're brought out. So what's your name? I missed the name. It's
My name's Kevin Short, mate. What's yours?
Kevin Short. Mars Roberts
and Deborah.
Very good. We
Nice
have a
to
Mars
meet you.
bar over here,
Yeah, I'm from Canada originally, so they're Mars bar. I used to eat myself all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for something else.
I bet you were delicious, weren't you?
So tell me about your movie. What's your movie?
Right. It's called Punk Strut, the movie. There you go. That's.
Oh, cool. I saw that up on the site. So tell us about it. Did you write it, direct it?
Yeah, I did. It's a kind of. It's been described by people as a kind of cross between Spinal Tap and The Commitments.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, but it's high praise, actually. It's a load of crap,
Yeah.
really. No, it's not a load of crap. No, I used to have a band. Well, I still have, but we have reunions every now and again. I had a band called Kevin Short and his Privates.
Oh, nice.
And
Better
I
than
walked
Kevin.
in the 1970s, just after the Sex Pistols were sacked from EMI, I was signed up to Warner Chapel in London, and they said, hey, the Sex Pistols have got the sack. Have you got anything? And I had this punk dance called Punk Strut, and I played it, and they took me right into EMI that day, and they signed me up. And we came out with this Punk Strut single, which was almost a hit. It's one of those things that almost got them. And a guy called, I can't remember his name, God won't
because I got gonads here.
Oh, right.
Privates and gonads.
Very good. I do. Very much indeed. Well, that's Gary, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that Gary?
Yes.
Gary Bushell.
I did a film with him.
Oh, right. Cool.
And Field, who's on the call, who's in the band Fencer and in the film Johnny Anarchy, he was support for him. So this is Field just right here. Yeah.
Basically, what you're saying is you
Hey.
got a lot of.
Hey, what's going on?
What's that? I've got off beat now. I haven't finished yet.
I'm back.
Interrupting this.
I'm just learning.
Yeah, it's finished telling you about the movie.
Yes.
So I'll be very quick because it's late here. Yeah, so anyway, it was a near hit, right? But it wasn't a hit. However, 30 years later, one of the band phoned me up and said, have you ever Googled Punkstrut? I said, no, I don't Google myself. You know. But he said, Google it. So I Googled it, and I found out that Punkstrut on eBay all around the world was selling for higher prices than all the Sex Pistols singles.
Wow, that's awesome.
It had become a cult, really. So I decided to have a 30th year reunion with the band, and I hadn't seen them for 30 years. And I filmed it all. But while I filmed it, I decided to interview all the surviving, or a lot of the surviving UK bands that are still going in their 60s. UK Stubbs, the Meatcoats, John Otway, Wild Willie Barrett, people like that. And so I interspersed the reunion with interviews with all these guys saying, why the fuck are you still a punk in the 60s? You know? And it was quite interesting. Got some interesting replies from them. And that's the movie, really. But it's a celebration of punk. And it's
I
fun.
can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. So what your band itself? What kind of, like, when I hear the name punk rock strut, I'm thinking of like psychobilly. Was it kind of like that kind of tinge to it? Was it like King Kurt kind of style punk, or more like Sex Pistols kind of just straight rock and roll punk rock? You know, kind of.
Yeah, it was more Sex Pistols. You know, but it had more humour than the Sex Pistols. I never thought the Sex Pistols had much of a sense of humour. Well, I could
What
laugh
was your big song? What was your favorite song
at what?
of your band? What was like your the one that everybody would be like wanting all the time?
A song called Craig.
Okay.
Called Craig, and it's in the movie. It's actually the final song of the movie. But I mean, most people like the punk stuff because it's a fun sort of high-powered punk track that you can dance to if you know the dance. So if you see the film, you can learn the dance.
Awesome.
And
Playing tomorrow.
Do you are you going to be doing a lot more shows with your original band, or was it just kind of the one off there?
It was a one-off, to be honest. Unfortunately, the drummer, who was a fantastic drummer, played with loads of top UK bands called Jimmy Copley. He played with Jeff Beck and lots of bands. He died recently. Well, I think.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But look him up. He's a fantastic drummer. But no, so we'll do a reunion for parties, you know, and we might do a 40th reunion if we're all still alive.
You never know. This after this festival, we might just be like chanting, "We need to bring this band to California and see what this is all about." You know?
No,
So
yeah, absolutely. And the film's done well. It won Best International Music Documentary at the New York Independent Festival, and it's been invited to lots of festivals, to the Berlin Punk Festival and British Punk Festivals over here. So the film is known, but it's not that known on the West Coast. So I'm really pleased that people on the West Coast will see it.
When did you play the Berlin Punk Film Festival? Because I had a film called Scumbag that played there in 2018.
We played there 2016.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's they're the real deal. Apparently, I brought people to do a Q&A, and the guy was too drunk to invite them to stage, and he just left. After going all the way to Berlin, so
Well, that's
drunk to watch. Yeah. So I see Sam giving me a signal that I guess we got some more filmmakers here in the house that we got to get to before the show starts. It was great to meet you, and I wish you nothing but success in your movie and your life.
Love for the for the rest of my life. Thanks a lot. Love from the UK. It's on at 3:10 tomorrow.
Right after
Right
X. Right after the X interview.
Oh, right after
Right after the X interview?
Yeah.
Nice. I'll watch. Cool.
So
Thank you.
thank you. Chris, we'll bring you in right now, and Field and James, we're going to be with you just closer towards the end, so that because your films and your videos are playing at that particular time. So Chris, I'm going to hand you over to Mars
Hey,
Hey, Chris,
to
nice meet
interrogate you.
nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, I'm Mars. This is Deborah. What's your film? Tell us what can we expect?
My film is called Melvin and the Microphone. It's a dark comedy, I hope, if people find it funny. It's about a heavy metal band that gets a magical microphone forged by the devil, and they inadvertently cause the apocalypse due to the lyrics of their song.
That's awesome. Can we see Chris? Because I'm seeing myself, and I'd like to not.
Oh, can you not see it?
Satanic movies to a voice.
Hang on.
It's not horror then. It's
No,
like
not horror,
it's
no.
more
It's-
like a
Horror comedy for sure.
horror comedy. Okay,
Yeah,
that sounds cool. Really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw the trailer, and it kind of led me into thinking, is the guy going to go into a whole death metal thing? I don't want to give away the plot, but it looked pretty looked interesting.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, I know like the whole story of heavy metal and Satanism is like, it's not really fresh, but our take is a more of tongue-in-cheek, relaxed approach to that kind of thing. Our characters aren't necessarily terrified of the devil; he's just kind of a nuisance. And the main character Melvin is more of a anti-hero than a hero, that's for sure.
It's like punks making a heavy metal movie that making fun of heavy metal people in a horror film.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I'm a punk rock guy. I respect horror, but I'm a punk rock guy at heart, so this was fun to do.
Cool. And where are you based out of?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay. Cool. Was this
That's
all
great.
shot out here?
It was. It was shot over a weekend, about a year ago, actually.
Awesome. And the actors that I see, are they real musicians? Were they a real band or anything, or they formed for this movie? Or
Oh God. The one guy. I don't want to give too much away. The one guy who the lead character Melvin argues with in the band the most. He's a musician, and all of their original music he wrote, and I wrote the lyrics. The rest of the guys, they're actors. We had a crash course on playing metal guitar.
awesome. And what venues did you use? Because I know being in LA, being a filmmaker myself, it's really hard as hell to go up to a bar and say, "Hey, can you give me a place for free? Let me film a movie." And you're going like in LA, like they're like, "Well,
Yeah.
I've done this sports dive bars, and they wanted to charge me $600 an hour and stuff."
That's exactly what we were faced with too. I actually worked for a visual effects studio, and they recently, around that time, they acquired a smaller building next door to the larger building, and they were going into construction, and they let us have it. So we turned the building into a bar.
Awesome. I wouldn't have, like, from just watching the trailer, I would have thought for sure that's a real bar.
Awesome.
I expected to say like Whiskey a Go-Go or something. Wow.
Right.
Okay.
We like and appreciate filmmaker tricks of using things that fooling people. We like that. We're all about that.
It was scary. Like we kept delaying the shoot, and we got in there the weekend before they were slated to start construction. So
Wow. Perfect
yeah,
timing.
so at like 6 in the morning when we finally finished loading the truck with the gear, there was construction crews showing up. So I'm looking at my producer and saying, "Oh man, I hope we got everything we needed because we're not going to go back into this place ever again." So, and luckily we did. Yeah, we did.
That's cool. And are you? Is this one of the first festivals you've played at, or?
No, we've done a handful now. We've had some good responses too. But I'm super stoked to be part of this because it's in LA and I'm a big punk guy, so I'm thrilled to be part of this one.
Nice.
Well, it's funny. It was announced today that LA Film Festival's over. So there's about 5 film festivals in LA. Us being one of them right now.
Oh, is that right?
So we're glad you're here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys.
Thank you. And what time's your film on?
I want to say 2 o'clock tomorrow, Saturday. Is that
Yes.
is that right?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Woo.
Perfect. See, we look forward to seeing you then. Good luck with everything.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Chris. And we're next gonna go up to let's go up to James and let's talk about Johnny Anarchy, and then we'll bring Fencer in. So I'll let him do the talking. Here we go.
Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark. This is Deborah.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just tell us about Johnny Anarchy. Did you write it, direct it? What's
Yeah. I wrote and directed it. I did some editing on the back half, but yeah, it's a movie. It's just a love letter to the punk that I know. I know a lot of people see punk as like you get punched in the face and that's punk. But for me, it's more about you get punched in the face and then you wake up in some guy's living room the next day and you're like, how did I get here? He's like, hey, I made you breakfast. I'm going to work. I'll fucking see you later. What's your name? Yeah, so that's the punk I sort of know and wanted to represent more in the spirit. And then I also wanted to address some mental health problems, which I'm sure everyone deals with. I know I deal with some mental health problems, but I didn't want to make the film, I didn't want to feel like I'm forcing a message down anyone's throats, like it's time, like, hey kids, sit down, listen, this is important. I just wanted it to be a background theme that if you're looking for, you can find it, but it's nothing that I want.
You weren't going to do the different strokes thing and bring out Nancy Reagan to give a little talk before the film, and then
That would be great. You know what? I maybe I should have done that. That actually sounds like a better idea.
yeah.
That sounds awesome.
But so sorry to interrupt you. So tell us a little bit. It sounds kind of like a slacker comedy punk film. Maybe I'm wrong. Any kind of personal stories that built this for you from yourself, or?
I don't think the personal stories are necessarily the same. I think everyone has felt similar themes of fraud or guilt or identity issue. I feel it's pretty. But the more overall of the story is just about a punk kid trying to be in a punk band and losing that and losing that and his friend and trying to find what to do next. Really.
That's awesome. And where are you based out of?
I'm based out of Burbank.
Okay, so you're in LA too. So cool. And did you find any issues being a guerrilla filmmaker, filming out here in California?
Yeah, I had found some issues, but I had a great crew. We actually did have to get permits because I was working around a certain thing, so we did get permits, but we did also break through walls and do some other fun things. Yeah.
And wake up in somebody's apartment and make them eggs and tell them about the movie you're making. Well, that's awesome. And when's your movie playing? So I just know.
I'm pretty sure it's playing pretty soon. It's going to play at around 7
o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. So we won't
Nice.
we won't put a delay on this. We're gonna go to. Anything else you want to say before Conquer the World?
We're gonna bring in Phil from Fencer and have you guys have the conversation because Fencer's music happens to be in Johnny Anarchy, and I had no idea. So
cool.
here's
So
Phil.
you're gonna ask them questions, guys, since you know this stuff a lot more than we do. I saw the music video for Junebug the other day. I thought it was cool. Yeah, I'd love to hear you guys what this deal is. Sandy, maybe you could put the spotlight on Chris and Fencer here.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
James and Fencer. Yeah, I'm gonna spotlight you guys. So tell us about how you're the fourth member of the band.
Well, should we talk about the song being in Johnny Anarchy, or should we talk about the video?
Both. Separately. Separately.
James, what song did you end up using in Johnny Anarchy? I haven't even seen the final cut yet.
I ended up using a battery pack.
Okay.
Oh,
I
sweet.
remember the conversation was, "Hey James, can I use the song?" And he's like, "Yeah, you fucking idiot, yeah."
Basically.
So that it was very, very hard to get the song. I'll say that.
Yeah.
No, but it was no. I'm very honored that Field trusted me enough to just be like, "Yeah, of course you can put one of our songs in your film. Put it in."
Yeah.
I love that we
Well-
have trust like that.
James and I have been working together, and he's been working with Spencer for a minute now. And so we do all of our video content and photos, like everything we make, we do with James. So that made sense for us to put a song in that film, which is very punk based and kind of rooted in what you guys are doing. As far as our video goes, I mean, we're a Spencer is a punk band, I guess. I mean, it was not punk traditionally, like like Sex Pistols or something, but we're aggressive, we're angry, and our video, which James directed and kind of produced with me, is just kind of capitalizing on our image, on our energy, on what kind of makes punk, which is just attitude. That's what it is. And yeah, it's a stupid song about a bug. I don't know.
Did you ever end up doing that video with you were going to get all the June bugs?
Well, that was the initial concept. Yeah, when we were writing the video. So the song's just about how much I hate bugs because I have a bad phobia of that. And initially, the concept for the video was going to be put me and the band in a room and somehow import a bunch of live flying beetles, which we did a lot of research on and almost figured it out. They were like, there are weird beetle laws in the U.S. about like what can be brought on shipping and planes and stuff. But yeah, we were just gonna release them all and try to play this and lip sync and play the song. And I probably would have had a complete meltdown. I can't even imagine how I would have reacted. But we couldn't pull that out. I thought that would be funny though.
At least you didn't do the Murder Hornet song.
Right. Well, this was a bit before the Murder Hornet time. Now we have time to write the Murder Hornet song.
That's the focus, yeah. Cool.
And basically, yeah, just the aesthetic and everything. That was all James. James had a really good vision for kind of what he wanted it to look like. I had a vision of what I thought maybe it should look like, and I think we pulled it off pretty cool. So.
Yeah, James, that looked like a huge, big budget music video. Like, I felt like they were
It wasn't.
praying for everything. Well, tell us about the process there of shooting that video. Where did you do it?
Well, luckily, we were able to get the stage for free. We had a great crew. Our camera person, our DP, Aaron Maxey, did a great job of shooting it. And I mean, honestly, it's half him, half the opening. That lens we got was his. He wanted to get that. I remember coming up with the entire video with Field in actually in this room, just sitting here and just sort of just going back and forth, and then finding the compromises that needed to be found, and getting it. We actually finished an hour early, which was my fault.
You're a great producer.
I was both directing and assistant directing, so I was keeping track of my own time. So as soon as I thought we were done, I was like, wrap it up, everyone get the hell out of here, we're done. And then we ended up with an hour left of time. And I'm like, well, okay.
Let's have a beer.
Usually people are pulling like 16-hour days, like, and they're like running late or something.
Yeah, we did it. We did it all, I think, in 8 or 9 hours.
Yep.
Wow.
No money. So.
Well, and what was the special lens? I asked because I just made a movie and I didn't know anything about camera lenses until my crew guy broke one off the truck and I had to buy it. So now I pay really close attention to what these lenses are. But what was the great lens that you guys wanted to got in?
See, here's where I show some of my ignorance. Is I actually am not familiar with it either. I just know cameraman said my I know other lenses, but this one this this is a weird lens. I've tried to find specialty lenses recently, and it's kind of hard to find specialty lenses that aren't like, oh, it's a macro lens, or oh, it's this. So my camera guy just said, hey, James, this lens is perfect. It'll be perfect for the video. Let's use it. And I said, how much is it? Oh, okay. Sure. Let's do it.
Cool. Cool. And did you guys grow up here on the West Coast? Or?
Yeah, we're in LA as well.
Awesome. Cool. Well, this film festival happens every year, so we're going to be doing awards from last year coming up with Angela Moore from Fishbone and a whole bunch of stuff. So hopefully next year, with the pandemic ends soon enough, we'll see you. We'll see you there. Come back. Meet you in person. So everybody go and check out their films. You can buy a per film, or you can get a package deal for the weekend or the day, and that's all coming up shortly.
Yeah, LAFilmFestival.com.
Yeah.
You should definitely do that. Junebug you can watch for, I think, on there for free as well. But you should also get the passes and then, watch the other stuff.
Cool. Is there any mystery people behind the curtain, Sandy?
We got some more people, but I just wanted to remind everybody and let them know that this is now a 4-day film festival, so we're thriving in this situation and gone international, which is perfect. We've transported Kevin Short in from the UK with us. So this is really a lot of fun, being able to just be more international and to also just share the music as well. So today we go from 6 to 11, and there's a lot of films, and then tomorrow it's 12 o'clock all the way till 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, with the live interview at 2:30 from X. And then on Sunday we got the same thing all over again, 12 o'clock till 11 o'clock. So you get sleep a little earlier, and then we start all over again about 5:30 or so on Monday with more films, and finishing with an award show between 7 and 8, and Mars and Deborah will be hosting again, our favorite hosts, who are actual filmmakers themselves.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to show our new film at your festival, but it just wasn't ready yet. So Mr. Sister will be coming out a little later this year, but of course we'll definitely make the path through LA Punk Film Festival when we do.
We now have Kelly Hughes. Spanky was a punk rocker. Hi, are you there?
I am. You can probably just see that distorted painting of me, but I'm here, and it's funny because I have a desktop computer. It's what I edited Spanky Was a Punk Rocker on, but I don't have a webcam. I'm not a webcammer.
Okay. So that's cool.
Which is probably for the best, because from wearing my quarantine mask so long, I think I'm developing a rash on my face.
Right.
So I missed the name, but I know your movie's called Spanky the Punk Rocker. What's your name?
My name is Kelly Hughes, and I'm a filmmaker from Seattle, grew up there, and my movie's about a guy who started a band in Seattle called Dead Vampires. It was back in the mid-2000s. So my documentary, the subtitle of it is called Confessions of a Horror Punk, and Spanky's this guy that I met through the horror VHS kind of... Remember a couple years ago when people started to really collect all that old horror movies on VHS? Well, he was part of that, and I met him through some people there and kind of learned his story through that. And so over the course of almost 4 years, I've been filming him, and not just about his band, but traveling to horror conventions with him where he sells, old horror soundtracks on vinyl and just all kinds of stuff. So it's not just about his band, but, what happened to him after that. And I think what I'm really trying to get with this is, a lot of bands don't last forever. What happens to these people, and where do they channel their creativity after they're in a band? And so I think a lot of this is how he's channeled his creativity after that, how he, took down some barriers by being a very, out and proud gay guy in the punk world, and his relationships and how the dynamics of the band changed between how it started and how it evolved. And I think, if I want to get, people to get anything out of it, just to get to know Spanky, and liked using this whole format of documentary to not just show about, punk rock or horror or whatever, but just to really show a person in a way that you don't always get to see in a documentary.
Yeah, actually, the punk scene doesn't get enough credit for being connected with the LGBT scene, I think, because like way back in the 70s, it was like punks dyeing their hair when that was like considered not normal, and like it was just about being accepted and doing your thing. So I think the two worlds definitely worked with one another, and of course there's bands and stuff. So I'm glad that you're part of this film festival and you're showing that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And, I have to give a big thank you to Sandy, first of all, for putting all this together. I know just you're moving mountains by, bringing all this online. So I really appreciate that. And I just have to add, I'm one of these horrible filmmakers who asked to put on my latest version. And then Sandy graciously said, yeah, I did an updated version about a week ago. She said, yeah, we'll fit that in. And it's part because, when you do something like this, it's really affected Spanky and I think some of the other band members in that it's really gotten them to find old footage. And one thing I was so grateful for was they had one friend named Julie who came to a lot of their shows and took most of the concert footage I show in the documentary. And just in the process of, knowing this was going to be in the LA Punk Film Festival, it prompted Spanky to search even more and back into old hard drives and, physical DVDs to find, some long lost footage that I could include in this. So, this whole festival has prompted Spanky to expand his archive and to really organize and preserve, because I really think, a lot of punk history, gets lost. I think, the other part of all this was to really preserve the special just memories of this band and all the the bands that led up to it and what happened after. But if anything, I think bands need to be really assertive and preserve their band history.
Yeah, I agree. I played in a couple bands in Toronto, Millionaires, and different bands. Like, they probably wouldn't have heard about them in America, but those days were a drunken blur for me, and I don't have any videotapes or anything to show for it. I wish I did. I got these bands that were actually living the life. They have that stuff. It's pretty cool.
Well, one thing too is, back in the day, I don't know if you were talking 80s or 90s or even in the 2000s,
for me,
but
yeah, I'm 47, so for me that was like the 90s.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
did you shoot on high 8? Because I know a lot of bands, they might have old footage, but they don't even have the right player to play the old tapes on.
High 8, yeah, that was how it was done. SD.
Yep. Well, thanks for having me here. And like I said, I'm just really grateful to Sandy and all you guys. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And I wanted to say, when you mentioned VHS, throwback memory, we were in Austin about a year ago, and there's a video store in Austin, which is the biggest VHS store in the world. All they do is rent VHS movies. I couldn't believe that there was a place like that. It was the size of almost like one corner of Amoeba Records in Hollywood, and it was 6 VHS tapes, and it was busy. I was like, what decade am I? But it was cool that they had that. I'm sure you can look it up online. World's largest VHS store.
Right, and remember when stores used to have a little VHS punk section? I mean, isn't that the funnest thing when you go to a store like that and you discover a little music section? You see all these lost punk concerts, and it's usually Xerox the cover and stuck it in the cover, and the label is written in a magic marker. That's the kind of stuff I like to find.
It reminds me of punk record stores where there was this one in Toronto. I remember I guess it was more of an experimental music store, and they prided themselves on original albums that nobody else could get. And I'll never forget, there was this one record that came in a record sleeve made out of sandpaper, so it would get scratches every time you took the record out, until eventually it didn't work anymore, and that was the only one in existence. I think it was like $30 at the time. But yeah.
That's brilliant.
Well, it's nice to meet you, and again, your film is playing
Sunday.
Sunday. anybody that's just tuning in, you can go to LAPunkFilmFestival.com and look up when all these films are playing, along with all the little write-ups, the descriptions and stuff. And follow these filmmakers outside of the film festival when the film festival ends. And that's how we keep this community going.
So what I thought would be nice as we begin to close up and everything is if we just tell each other, just say what our new projects are, okay? So I'll be on to next year's already. We've already got new entries in. And when I started this, which was 4 years ago, we had about 4 films. And so we had almost 200 entries this year. It's been amazing. And yeah, it was exactly that, looking for old footage, you know, that just wasn't there. I was like, why? This is such a great scene, you know? But, you know, back in the day, I think sometimes it was like, you want a picture? Well, you got to pay for it, you know, real punk-like sort of thing. So sometimes, you know, things weren't documented as much as they are. So I'm really glad to see all the filmmakers. I'm going to start with Jordan, so tell us what you're up to next.
Well, tomorrow I am shooting a music video for a band called Bellow and the Whale. Very talented, you should go check them out. Not quite punk like what we're listening to, but still very talented. And I'm also working on like a kind of like whatever, you know, half documentary, half mockumentary for a band called Dreadwolf, and they're recording their album right now. So we're just kind of collecting footage as we, you know, get permission between the COVID tests and all the crazy stuff going on. So that's really all I'm working on right now.
Do you edit as well?
What's that?
Do you edit as well as write?
Yeah, I edit most of my work.
Nice. Very, very cool.
It might
Well,
take so long to come out.
I know, but it's wonderful. You get your vision, and it's just awesome. Mars has got something too, so we'll go to you in a minute, Mars. Let's go to Chris right now.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's funny how he's like, and that's all I'm doing right now. He's like making he has a couple 5 film projects and stuff going on. Like, dude, that's a filmmaker.
That's all I got. Yeah.
People did take
5
years
film
to-
projects during a pandemic.
Yeah, right? So, Chris, what's next?
I'm actually developing Melvin and a Microphone into a television series.
Awesome. Good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Is it a
We
big
have pitch
cast?
going and everything, so. What's that?
Is it a big cast?
Oh, yeah, I mean, we're actually leaning towards animation right now, which is kind of interesting.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Pandemic.
I
Is
love
that, is,
Thank you,
animation.
thank you.
That's like, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and everyone's up and running who does animation right now, so
yeah.
I can get that out.
Yes, it's perfect. Actually,
Yeah.
perfect timing to go animated for sure.
You can't tell us what it is
Your
right
actors
now.
have to wear masks in the animation. I don't know if there's a vote on that yet. But good luck with that.
Thank
Anything
you so
else you want to say? Anything to look out for?
No, not right now. We're really full steam ahead with that, and like I said, I'm just really excited to be here and be part of it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hope to see you in person next year. Come back.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, finally.
All right, Kevin.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, we're just in post-production. We're just doing about a sound design on a zombie movie
Perfect.
Awesome.
called Tom and His Zombie Wife. A Love to Kill For. And there's loads of music in it.
Excellent.
A lot of the music is sort of covers by weird bands. And there's a zombie dance in it. Like you've always got to have dancing in film.
Yes.
So the zombies do the punk strut. It's quite funny. So yeah, and it's basically about a guy who's got a zombie wife, and he has to lock her up so she doesn't kill him. And he goes out every day and shoots people to bring back to feed to her. That's the basic premise of it. Yeah, so that's it.
All right. Awesome. I
That's
just
awesome. I wanted to ask you a question. So your band was called Kevin Short and the Privates. Sandy's friends from England are the Gonads. We were talking about the Sex Pistols. What's with penises in British music there?
Everybody
I don't know.
wants to know.
So Willie.
Listening on my side too, so make it good.
Yeah, there's a lot of phallic symbolism in punk in England. How long have we got? Would you like a punk poem?
Yeah.
At the end. At the end.
Oh,
All right.
We're going to finish with you with the punk poem at the end. Has it got the name Willie in it?
No.
Okay.
But I can put it in for you. I mean the word.
It works, right? Okay. Hey, go. We'll be back. All right, Field, what's next? What's next, Field?
What's next for me? Well, I'm a musician. I'm in a band, so I just make music. So if you want to follow what I do, it's called Censor. We are at Censor Band everywhere. Yeah, we just put out an acoustic session on our YouTube. We've got a lot working on the background right now. James and I have actually been working on a lot of video stuff for new material coming. So yeah, we're Censor. Go check us out.
Well, he's a singer-songwriter.
What's up?
Singer-songwriter. Oh, sorry.
Pandemic stuff. Are you doing any virtual concerts right now?
Yeah, actually, we were gonna start tomorrow, but we actually might start the following week. We finally set up a whole live stream situation at our studio. So we're gonna start doing like weekly or bi-weekly concert streams. Less of like a stream of like, oh, we're hanging out, and more of just kind of like like a well-shot show. And changing up our set list and stuff, just so we can kind of have like a way to still interact with fans and stuff. And that's going to be happening in the next week or so.
Excellent.
I guess posted on the LA Punk Film Festival Facebook page.
Absolutely, yeah.
We'll get it posted. All right, we've probably got about 6 minutes, so we're going to go on through what you up to, James.
Hey, I have some more music videos coming out. Of course, you heard I'm always working with Fencer. And then I have another short that's getting ready to go into production. That's going to be a lot more bloody and a lot more violent than the last one. So,
Woo!
I guess if people want to follow me, I'm not suggesting they do, but if they do, they can follow me on Instagram at James Abrams. This is my personal Instagram account, so probably a mistake, but we'll see how it goes. Social experiments, boys.
And what was your phone number again? Your American
My phone
Express
number,
card?
it's, let me get it.
Security code.
Security code, okay.
And your passport.
Morris, you saw him take the bong hit.
That just went out to like Thailand. Who knows where else? I don't even know.
Please, Thailand, help me improve my credit score.
Thank you, James. And Michael, I'll just give you the spotlight for a quick minute. He's been right here at the mixer, just helping us with everything. At least I just want to say thank you.
Hi, Michael. I just helped.
He's been here just helping with all the techies.
Yeah. If you guys need any sort of support with visual effects or editing or anything, I can help you with that stuff and give you ideas for those things. And because I'm I studied animation and all that, so if you need any help with that stuff,
Awesome. And what's your deepest, darkest secret that you never wanted to tell anybody about before?
Let's see. Deepest, darkest secret. I don't know. That's a good one to think about, actually. Like, next year I'll tell you. Like, come back to me.
No pressure.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Morris. Thank you, Deborah. Great host as always. This is so much fun. We're going to finish with Kevin Short's video. And, yeah, I should tell you what I'm doing as well. Okay, so I'm producing a slate of 10 different film and TV projects, and I've just finished a really great draft of Serial Killer, and you'll see Serial Killer, the trailer, is up there on the opening festivities, which is free for everybody to see all weekend long. and it has Fencers on there, and it has all the trailers and everything up there. So we're going to just make sure that we finish on time, so we go straight into James' film, and then we go straight into the feature, Anne and Andy, Jordan Salander's film. There you are. Hey. Awesome. And thank you. So thank you, guys.
Oh, can I do a shameless self plug?
You have to.
Yeah. So Deborah and I have a movie coming out called Mr. Sister. It's just we're putting on the final tweaks, but follow it at on Instagram and stuff at Mr. Sister NYC. You can follow me as Mars Roberge. Deborah has a something she's doing right now. She'll tell you all about it. And the reason why we said that we're live in Thailand right now as well. So.
Actually, all over. I can't actually look to see where everyone's viewing from right now. But hi, Vigo. Hello, everyone. How are you? We're doing an interview over here. Oh, thank you. Oh, see, they're sending me love over here while I'm doing this.
Can you explain what that is?
It's a live streaming app. It's kind of new to people in the States.
It's from Thailand.
It's from Thailand. I'm kind of doing like a little, I've made my own talk show in there. But people can do whatever they want in some of the rooms. Some of the rooms are kind of scandalous. Let's just say it's like Las Vegas.
Whoa.
Okay?
Whoa.
It's like a YouTube of Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, so say you came to see my variety show in Las Vegas, okay? There might also be some other things you could participate in Las Vegas as well, like comedy or like showgirl, like more dancing girls, if we shall say.
Wow.
And I'm not a computer
yeah.
guy, but it looks like you're playing a video game where you send people jewels and all this crazy stuff, and they do stuff.
Yeah,
and it actually equals real money. Like you can get paid doing this stuff from your home. Not a lot, but like.
And that's why I said Vigo, V-I-G-O. And that's why I said it's like Vegas because there is gambling as well. So there's a lot going on in there. Mine.
It's a whole world.
I'm doing more like I said, a talk show thing. But there's people doing there's DJs, all kinds of things in there. And they actually reached out to me because I'm a creative person. But yeah, so we're kind of streaming. I wish they could see you guys, but they can't hear you. They told me they can hear the audio, so yeah.
And other than that, she's doing music. She has a music project called Skunk in the Roses, which is kind of like Sneaker Pimp's electro, kind of like meets like a burlesque Betty Page kind of thing. Like it's like it all rolled into one.
All right, so I'm going to make sure then that all of this goes up on the Facebook page so that we can all like check each other out, okay? I'm going to finish with Kevin Short because we want to get off for Johnny Anarchy right now. But just remember, everybody, all weekend long, LA Punk Film Festival, all weekend long till Monday. Award show 7 o'clock on Monday. Okay, here we go. We're going to finish with, and just remember, this is not the end of the Punk Portal TV. It's going to be forever. Forever. So it's not just going to be on just while the film festival's on, but at least, you know, we get started and start bringing in more films. All right, Kevin, you're on.
Hangman, hanging loose. I got news for you. I'm not going to die today, so now what are you going to do? And he grabbed my legs, he stabbed my chest, he tried to kill me with a Boy Scout knife. But when I shouted Arcada, his face grew paler. He tried to take his own life. I said, Hangman, hanging loose. I got news for you. You're not going to die today, so now what are you going to do? He said, well, someone's got to die. Someone's got to die. The crowd are getting restless. They're here to hear a death wish, so it's you or I. It's an eye for an eye, but someone has got to die. I said, well, what did I do? He said, boy, you killed. I said, so did you? He said, but boy, I'm killed. I said, Hangman, hanging loose. I got news for you. God has told me that I'm innocent, but now what are you going to do? And he called for God. And God, he came. And as he did, it started to rain. And the crowd dispersed. It went 2 by 2, and God came down and said, here's what we'll do. He said, Hangman, hanging loose. I've got news for you. The rest of the world's on Noah's Ark. So now what are you going to do? And I said, what about me? He said, you're my son. I said, you really mean I'm the chosen one? He said, yes, you are. So get inside, Because tomorrow morning, you'll be crucified. Someone's going to.
Awesome. Woo!
Yes.
LAPunkFilmFestival.com. We're off. We're watching Johnny Anarchy, 7 o'clock, 7:15. Ann and Andy, thank you. LAPunkFilmFestival.com.
Awesome.
Much love.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys.
Punk lives. Mm-mm-mm.